Hey everybody, it's Neil again from Heart of Texas Armory, and today I have a watch review of a Rolex Submariner homage. You can see this one here is from Vinoce, so join me today and find out my complete thoughts on this affordable and quite impressive watch from Vinoce. And taking a look at the specs here of the Vinoce Submariner homage, you can see this is an homage of the modern Rolex Submariner case, the Super Case. So we do have a case diameter of 40 millimeters, lug width of 20 millimeters, lug to lug from that point there to this point here, 47.5. Case thickness is 13 millimeters, and we have a weight of 130 grams. So we do have a really nice set of specs here with this watch. The dimensions are just about perfect for pretty much anyone's wrist size. My wrist is 6 7/8 inches. You can see this watch fits perfectly on my wrist. And with this watch being an homage of the modern Rolex Submariner case, the Super Case, I will say it does wear slightly larger than the dimensions would indicate. So it does measure at 40 millimeters, but that Super Case just wears a bit larger in my opinion. So I actually feel like this watch wears more like a 41, but I like that because 41 millimeter is probably my favorite case diameter size. And we do have a 60-click unidirectional bezel with this watch, which works just fine. The action is smooth and very precise, although I will say the tension is a bit loose, at least in my opinion. I would have preferred it to be a little tighter, but overall the bezel action is solid. And we do have 200 meters of water resistance with this watch, which is a nice feature, particularly in this price point. So this is a dive watch. And we do have a screw down crown here at the 3 o'clock position, as well as a screw down case back. Both of those are necessary features on a dive watch, so we do have those here, which is a good thing. And I am fairly confident in this watch's water resistance rating that they claim, the 200 meters. The watch survived about 4 days out at the Frio River, where I spent up to 6 to 8 hours in the water. The watch handled it just fine, so I'm pretty confident in that rating. The crystal here is what I believe to be a hardened mineral crystal. I was really hoping that it was going to be sapphire, but it did not pass the diamond tester. So I believe this is a hardened mineral crystal, which is a bit of a disappointment, particularly since the ad showed it to be possibly a sapphire. But I did want to let you guys know that the crystal here, while it will work just fine and hardened mineral crystal will hold up to most abuse, it's certainly not sapphire. This watch does use a quartz movement inside of it. You can see it ticking away just fine right here. I'm not 100% sure who makes the quartz movement here. I don't know the manufacturer, whether it's a generic Chinese movement or a Japanese quartz, but I will say it has been very reliable and accurate for the 3 or 4 weeks that I've owned this watch. It's gained about 6 seconds. The lume on this watch is actually surprisingly good. You can see it in action right now. I really like that blue color on the hands and hour markings, and then it has a different color on that bezel pip, so it's more of a greenish color. But the lume lasts throughout the night. It works just fine and certainly was a surprise. I wasn't really expecting much with this watch, so pleasantly surprised with the lume performance on this timepiece. And the last thing I'll mention here is the price. This watch comes in at an incredible price of only $56. To me, it's an incredible value for the specs that we talked about here. I ordered mine from AliExpress. It took about 3 or 4 weeks to arrive, and the store I ordered from was titled the Sincere Watch Store. Now, this watch was also available from some other sellers, so it might be worth checking into. Maybe another seller might actually have it cheaper, but for the price that I paid, $56, I think it's an incredible value. And taking a look at the design here, it's pretty much as you would expect, being an homage of a Rolex Submariner. So we do have polished and brush sections throughout this watch. The finishing is done to a high level. It really surprised me. I was not expecting much with this watch being less than $60, but the polishing is well done, nice mirror finish, and the brushing is not bad either. My particular watch has the black bezel insert and black dial. There are some other color waves out there, so if you're interested in a different color, definitely check those out. But I went with the black version here. The black is well done. It's very dark, inky, and glossy, and looks really nice, particularly for that price point. We do have applied hour markings throughout the dial, which is a nice touch, and your typical Rolex Submariner handset here with the Mercedes style hands. And the text on this watch is printed. It does look nice, it's nice and crisp, but I'm not a fan of the wording down here at the 6 o'clock position where they just basically pulled it off the Rolex Submariner, the superlative chronometer, as well as officially certified. You know, that's kind of out of place on this timepiece. I really wish that they didn't have that, but it is on there. The text does look fine, but it's just kind of weird seeing that on there on the dial on a quartz watch. So the bracelet on this timepiece is actually surprisingly comfortable and well done. It actually uses screwed in pins, which is surprising, and it has a nice taper here going from 20 at the lugs down to about 17 at the clasp, so I do like that taper and it wears really nice on the wrist. The clasp uses a somewhat unique design here. You can see this little circle right here, indent, that clicks into the circle cutout here on the opposite side. Works really nice, clicks into place with authority, although I will say it takes quite a bit of force to open and close that mechanism. We do have a security clasp here over the top that you can lock into place with the Vinoce logo. Overall, the bracelet is solid. It's not spectacular, but it is comfortable and works just fine, and I really don't see any point in changing it out for this timepiece. And taking a look at the positives, we'll start off with just the overall value. I think this watch might be one of the best values on the market. I don't know of a dive watch that can compete with this in this price point. To me, this is my top choice for a dive watch under $75. Also, the overall quality of this watch is worth noting, so the construction and materials here are all solid. We do have a watch constructed entirely out of stainless steel, which is nice. Hardened mineral crystal here, which is fairly scratch resistant. We do have a screw down crown and a screw down case back, as well as usable lume here that lasts throughout the night, and a smooth and usable 60-click unidirectional bezel. So all these things add up to a watch that has quite a few things going for it. As for the negatives, I'll just mention 3 things here. One, I'm a bit disappointed in the crystal. I would have really preferred it to be sapphire. What we have here is hardened mineral crystal. So mineral crystal is pretty tough stuff, but it's certainly not going to hold up to scratches like sapphire would. Also, I'll mention the bezel action. While it is excellent and smooth, it is a bit loose on the tension. I would have preferred it to be just a little tighter. And the last minor negative I'll mention is with the screw-in pins on the bracelet. I really like that this bracelet does use screw-in pins, but after about a day or so of wearing it, on my particular watch, all of these screws started backing out, and one of them almost backed out completely where I would have lost the watch off of my wrist. So if you get one of these watches, and I certainly suggest you do because it's an incredible watch for the money, take out those screw-in pins, go ahead and put a little bit of blue Loctite on them, and then reinsert them. That way these screws won't back out on you. So to wrap this video review up here, I have to say this Vinoce watch really impressed me. It's becoming one of my favorite watches in my collection. It's one I can wear here at the shop working and not have to worry about beating it up because it only costs $56. And when I ordered this watch, there really wasn't any information out there on it. I couldn't find any reviews online of this timepiece. So I took a little bit of a risk ordering this piece, but I'm really glad I did because it certainly surprised me. So in the end here, I'm really happy that I purchased this watch. I highly recommend them, and if you're in the market for a Rolex Submariner homage and you're fine with a quartz watch, I definitely suggest you should head over to AliExpress and pick up one of these because it's a really nice timepiece, one that really surprised me. And guys, if you have any questions or comments on this watch, definitely leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care.